Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys one of my absolute favorite makeup looks so far. The video itself is going to be very detailed and I'm going to let you guys know all of the different products that I use and take you through the struggle from step 1 to completion. My name is Izzy and welcome to the video. The first step for me is always to moisturize my face, and for that I'm using the Vitamin E Moisture Cream from the Body Shop. So I rub that all throughout my face as you can see, and then I moisturize my lips as well with this Smooth Lips lip balm that I got from Angel's Organics, and then I'm going to be applying primer. This primer is called Master Prime by Face Studio and it's made by Maybelline. It does have a chalky kind of feel but it's very smooth after application. Next, I'm going to be doing my eyebrows. I'm using this really tiny brow pencil because this is my absolute favorite pencil. I think it matches well with my face, not too dark, not too light, but I haven't been able to find the same one, so I'm just going to use it until there's nothing left. So for concealer, I'm going to be using the LA Girl Pro Conceal Concealer in the color Fawn. Again, this is the only one that I have been using and it works really well for me. Again, not too dark, not too light, and the application generally is pretty smooth. So I'm using that under both of my eyebrows just to carve out the shape to make it really neat and provide a very good base for the eyeshadow. I'm going to be going between a small dense makeup brush and a small makeup sponge to make the concealer as smooth and even as possible. And you really want a smooth, even application of concealer because then your eyeshadow is going to be smooth and even as well. It's also going to prevent your eyeshadow from shifting or cracking throughout the day. And the lighter concealer you use is the brighter or more saturated your eyeshadow is going to be. So you want something that's a little bit lighter than your skin so your eyeshadow can show up even more. For the tops of my eyebrows, I'm using the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Foundation in the color 355 Coconut. So I'm using the same concealer brush and very carefully carving out the top section of my eyebrows, basically just following the line that I've created with the pencil, but making it neat in case there are any stray lines and making it very sharp as well. Now, I know a lot of persons will use the same concealer for the top section of their eyebrows as well, but I personally prefer when my eyebrow top matches my forehead and pretty much the rest of my skin. So that's why I'm using a foundation that matches my skin tone. So again, using a sponge and the same makeup brush, I'm just blending out as much of the upper section of my eyebrows as I can, so it's very smooth for when I'm ready to apply foundation to the rest of my face. And there it is, again using the same foundation. So it was left on my hand and about one full pump for the rest of my face. This is a much bigger makeup sponge and there's just water in this spray bottle. It does apply a lot smoother and a lot more evenly when the makeup sponge is wet. It also takes a lot less time, I've realized. So this is something that I have been doing for a bit. Using the makeup sponge, I'm basically pressing the foundation into my face, just pressing and pressing and pressing to get it as even as I can. This actually took a whole lot of time. I took some of it out, but this is what we are looking like so far. Very plain. So we're gonna be moving on to, I just ran out of breath and had to take a pause, but we're moving on to eyeshadow. Obviously this is a brand new palette. This is the Launcher palette. I got it off of Amazon. In a previous video I made the mistake of saying I was using it for the first time in that video, but this is actually the first time I'm ever going to be using it. So close to my eye line, to my lash line, I'm going to be applying black using a fairly small fluffy eyeshadow brush. I really like this brush for the first application because it's so light. It doesn't pick up too much product at a time, so I can gradually build up on the color as I see fit, using a slightly smaller brush on the inner corner of my eye just to make sure eyeshadow is everywhere that I need it to be. So I'm working slowly up towards my crease, starting with the black, and then I'm using this kind of lime green color and I'm starting it right on top of the black, a little less than halfway down, and then I'm building that up towards my brow bone, kind of patting, kind of going in circular motions, just working it up so it's a nice smooth gradient. Of course, I'm going to be doing the same thing to my other eye. I like to work on both of them at once instead of doing one full eye and then going to the other side and doing one full eye. I find that it's a lot easier and yeah, it's just so much easier because I'm able to see everything clearly as it's happening, and I can adjust both eyes pretty much at the same time. To continue the gradient, I'm going to be taking a lighter green than the one I used before, and I'm pretty much going to be following the same process where I layer it right on top of the previous color and then kind of gently push it up close towards my brow bone without it actually touching my eyebrow. I ended up bringing this green a lot closer to the black than I had anticipated, so I eventually went in kind of circular motions bringing it down, and that really helped with the overall transition from a very dark green up to a light green, and then eventually to this yellow that I'm going to be choosing from my Splashy Candies palette by UCanBe. Some of you may already know that this is the very first palette I have ever bought, and I thought like I have a whole lot of palettes. I really don't, but this is the first one, and I chose it because of all of the different colors. I feel like I would have gotten a lot out of it, and I've used this quite a few times and I haven't been disappointed. So I'm using this to bring kind of the final piece of the gradient together, so pushing a bit of the green up to my brow bone while blending it with the yellow, so the transition is as smooth as it can get. I've said transition so many times. Whew. Okay, so moving on to blush, I'm using my Zulu Palette by Juvia's Place with a big fluffy brush, and I'm starting off with yellow, so my blush is very warm and bright. I do like an in-your-face kind of blush look, and I'm going to be layering that with one of these colors from a blush palette I got from a wholesale. I have no idea what it's called because most of it has been scratched off, as you can see, but I'm layering it up towards my outer eyes. And then I'm going to be using this liquid highlighter. I'm pretty sure that this one is from Maybelline as well. Someone gifted me this years ago when they actually thought I was wearing makeup. And now that I am wearing makeup, I decided to finally give it a try. It's very glowy and it's a lot brighter in person than it is on camera. I think I put a bit too much in one spot, so I'm just using the brush to smooth it out so it wouldn't look too stark. This little contour kit by Ulta Beauty was also gifted to me. I'm going to be using one of the highlighters. Do you say highlighter? I'm using one of the highlighters to oh gosh, I'm using one of the highlighters under my brow. So from the arch going all the way out to the tail. And for the most stressful and difficult part of any makeup process to me, putting on the lashes. Yes, I do use regular hair glue for my eyelashes. I feel like it's stronger and stays a lot longer than eyelash glue, so I put it on the applicator thing because that's easier for me, and then I wait for it to dry down just a little bit. And my eyelashes are really short, but they curl back a lot, so I have to use one finger to hold them down, and then I'm using the other hand to apply the lashes. Now, I don't know if you think that this went on properly. I guarantee you it did not. Half of the eyelash was pretty much hanging off of my lid, so I'm really trying to force it in so I don't have to rip it off and then start that process all over again. Even though I had to do it for the other lash, it just absolutely would not stay. I don't even have that part of the process on camera because it was just so long and so stressful. I hate putting lashes on, but there's a part of me that feels like a dramatic eyeshadow look just isn't complete unless you have dramatic lashes. So I put my lashes on, as hard as that was. I'm going to be using the same dark green I started with for my eyelids, but I'm going to be using it as eyeliner this time instead. So from the inner corners to about the middle is where that green is going to be, and then I'm going to transition from green to black using the same black eyeshadow I used previously. This is the same small makeup brush I used to highlight under my eyebrows, and I do find myself reusing the same brush for multiple things like eyeliner, highlighter, eyeshadow. It's just easier than having to maneuver a bunch of different brushes. Something that definitely does add to your makeup look but is also completely unnecessary is doing your lower lashes. For this, I'm using the Mega Impact 8XL mascara. Got this in a wholesale as well. I thought it would look really cute, and it did, but it also got messy. So right here, I'm using the same green and kind of covering over the mess that the mascara made as much as I could, and then still continuing on the other eye. I did a lot less than I had intended to because, again, it was just really messy, so I gave up. I got these star-shaped eyeliner stamps from Amazon, so I'm putting one under each eye, and then I'm going to be applying more lip balm so that my eyeshadow can stay. Yes, I'm using eyeshadow on my lips as well because I don't have green or black lipstick. and I want a transition from green to black on my lips to match my eyeshadow. Once again, I'm using the same green that I started off my eyeshadow transition with, and I'm stretching my lips and pressing in the eyeshadow with my fingers so it's more full coverage than it would normally be. And once I'm satisfied with that coverage, I'm going to be using a black eyeliner pencil to outline the shape of my lips. Using the same small makeup brush from before, I'm going to be dragging the black eyeliner closer towards the inner sections of my mouth to create a gradient. And then I'm going to be outlining my lips again because I lost some of that black and I want it to be really, really dark on the outside. The last thing I'm going to be doing to my lips is applying lip balm, and I'm using my fingers for this. Then I'm going to be blushing my cheeks again. This time I'm going to be using the Zulu Palette by Juvia's Place. This is an eyeshadow palette, but I do like that rose pink color for blush. So I'm pressing that in from the roundest part of my cheeks all the way up to the high point of my cheekbones. And then I'm using the color right beside it, which is like a shimmery rose pink. And I'm highlighting my Cupid's bow. Most of the time when I do more dramatic makeup looks, I do like to add freckles. Usually they go from my cheek, under my eye, across my nose, and then all the way across to the other cheek. And this is actually the same eyeliner I used to get those star shapes under my eyes. So on one end it's a star stamp, and on the other end it's just a regular eyeliner tip. So you do get 2 for 1, which is cool. I'm going for a more subtle look with these freckles, so I'm using a different makeup sponge to kind of press it in and make sure that it's not so stark and in your face. I'm going to finish up with the LA Girl setting spray, and then just taking one final look to make sure everything is to my liking. I'll take out these twists off camera and then come back so we can have a look at the final product. I definitely don't feel like the video is doing this makeup look enough justice. In real life, the colors are way more saturated and the gradient is actually really, really smooth. We're not going to pay attention to this one eyelash that decided to fall off at the corner. We don't know her, we don't see her. But what we do see is how nicely the look came together overall. Very symmetrical, clean transition, very bright, in your face without being like overwhelming. I would say dark without being gloomy. I just feel like all of the elements came together quite nicely. So we finally made it to the end of the video, and I just want to say thank you guys so very much for staying with me, and you will see me in the next one.